After listening to your heart and leaning into its still, quiet voice, after saying yes to a question that you knew you couldn't say no to and still be in integrity with yourself, has anyone ever challenged you saying, aren't you being selfish? Don't you care what this is doing to your loved ones? If we choose to live our lives authentically, and I trust each of us do, then we have to be prepared to address such allegations. So, how do we respond to these allegations in a way that honors our own truth while also honoring the impact our decisions may be having on those that we care about? Personally, I wrestled long and hard with these questions as I contemplated owning a significant aspect of my truth, that I am a transgender woman. In fact, I spent half of my life wrestling with culture's expectations regarding my gender. And for 4 decades, the fears in my head kept me stuck in a place that was not in integrity with my heart. But the very first time that I saw myself in a mirror, dressed head to toe in my authentic feminine expression, I finally felt fully aligned, internally and externally. And that was the day that I learned an important lesson, that I had to acknowledge the fears in my head, but act on the truth of my heart. Doing this set me on a course of taking many courageous steps without necessarily knowing my exact destination. And with each step I took in the direction of my yes, every aspect of my life turned upside down. My career, my connection with family and friends, my living situation, and even my relationship with God and my faith community. Because of the devastating loss and turmoils that I experienced, there were many times when I questioned the voice of my own heart. How can something that is so life-giving to me be so life-depleting for others? How can I live my truth if it causes heartache for my loved ones? Am I just being selfish? I now have had 11 years to contemplate these questions. And what I've come to understand is that there is a significant difference between being selfish and being self-honoring. Webster defines selfish as concerned excessively or exclusively with one's own self, seeking or concentrating on one's own advantage, pleasure, or well-being without regard for others. While others accuse me of acting selfishly, from my perspective, I didn't see it that way. I was highly aware of the challenges that my family and friends might experience in response to living my truth, which is a big part of why it took me so many years to come out. So while I do not see my choice to live my truth as selfish, I do see it as self-honoring. To honor oneself is to respect, admire, and appreciate ourselves, not to elevate ourselves above others, but to respect and give ourselves the admiration that's due. I define self-honoring acts as those things that we do in order to be in integrity with our authentic selves, to love ourselves, forgive ourselves, perhaps even putting ourselves first, and free ourselves from other expectations. Personally, I understand our authentic self to be the person whom God has created us to be. So for me, a self-honoring act is a God-honoring act, the best course of action that I can take. My decision to live my life authentically was validated early on in my journey when my daughter shared a comment that she made with me. We were out for dinner one evening, and she said, I have never seen you so happy or so at peace. For my daughter to recognize and comment on this was very meaningful to me. It made me realize that in order to bring the best that I have to offer to my loved ones and to the world, I first have to be my authentic self. Over time, I came to realize that I can only be as honest with others as I am with myself. So, in order to establish relationships that are based on the solid foundation of honesty and integrity, I have to be true to who I am. I have to be self honoring. My life is a testament to the fact that relationships based on self denial are built on shaky foundations. And when those foundations crumble, rebuilding these relationships is extremely challenging. Yet I am grateful for the chance that I now have with all those who knew me pre transition and will allow me the opportunity to reestablish connections that have a truer, more solid foundation. So, where are you with living a self honoring life? If you're succumbing to cultural pressure and just doing what's expected of you, please know that with every inauthentic step you take, you get further and further from showing up as your best self. At least that's what happened to me. And while embracing your truth and living authentically is not a journey for the faint of heart, I can assure you the views from the path of honoring ourselves are brilliant, beautiful, and beyond our wildest dreams. Thank you.